This is the design guide for the interstitial single image ad. We'll start by previewing this ad, and as you'll notice, a standard HTML page pops up onto which a gray overlay is added, and then on top of that gray overlay is the single image ad itself. Now as you can see, this has an X button to close the ad. It's simply one image, can be any JPEG, PNG, or GIF. And the size of this ad can be as big as 850 pixels tall by 850 pixels wide, or as small as you want. Basically, if you want to upload a smaller image with a transparent background, which is what we've done here, you can really make the size of this image anything you want. The user simply clicks the X, the ad goes away as well as the overlay, and they're here at the site wherever you want to go. Now, what's nice about these ads from a deployment standpoint is all you need to do is add the ad code for this interstitial ad to the actual page where you want it to pop up in front of. So if it's on your home page, you're going to add that ad code directly to the home page. If you want it to pop up directly before the sports page launches, you're going to drop that ad code onto the sports page itself. And we'll show you at the end how to set this ad to feel more like an interstitial where it pops up right along with or before the content, or you can set it to act more like a pop-up or overlay ad where the content loads and then the ad appears. We'll show you that at the end. So first we're going to start out here with the ad builder. In terms of text, you can optionally add some animated text in here, but most people don't. It's really designed to run more smoothly as simply one image being uploaded into the ad. So we'll come here to step 2 media. You'll see your first image, as I mentioned, can be up to 850 by 850 pixels wide, JPEG, PNG, or GIF. And again, if you want to make it smaller, just create an 850 by 850 pixel image that's a transparency, PNG or GIF transparency, and stick the ad somewhere of whatever size and shape you like in the middle of that transparency, and that'll center it automatically and work nicely for you. The only other image you need to deal with is at the very end. There's a default close button. We have a little X in there that can be positioned at the top or bottom of the page. But if you want to put something else in there, maybe an image that says skip the ad or something other than that X button, you can upload it in this dimension here. Colors, the only colors you really need to deal with are the border color, and we have that turned off by default, as well as the pop-up mask color. So right now we have the pop-up mask color set to black, and here in settings we have it set to 50% transparency. So for instance, if we wanted to come back to the colors and switch this to something other than black, we'll say blue for instance, and preview the ad, you'll notice instead of a gray overlay here on top of the ad, it's more like a transparent blue. And then the ad pops up here. So you could tailor that if you want to be more akin to whatever advertisement you're running. The other option here in settings is to make it more or less opaque. If you wanted to, almost black out the page completely, we could set it higher all the way up to 1, which would be a solid color. What you're going to see here, now you can barely see the background because we set the transparency to a higher amount, or a lower amount in that case. And that's how that works. In terms of settings, you have your pop-up mask transparency, which we just went over. Just like all of our other Premiere ads, you can set it to drop a cookie so that it doesn't pop up and act as an interstitial every time a user goes here. So if I change this from no to 24, for instance, this means that we're going to limit the ad launch to once every 24 hours per visitor. That means that if the ad pops up once, if a user goes back to that same page within 24 hours, they won't see that interstitial a second time. It's only if they come back more than 24 hours later that the ad would appear a second time. So you can set that here. And then the close button location, top or bottom. By default, it's the top. You can also have it be at the bottom right-hand corner if you like. Rest of the settings, not something you really need to deal with because this is a one-section ad. You can technically make it more sections if you want, but that's really what the interstitial multi-image ad is for. So that's it for the builder. Now we'll show you the nuance here when you launch the ad and what that means to actually make it an interstitial versus a pop-up. So here if we come to the campaigns, we'll expand this ad campaign It's a Taylor Swift promo. And when we go to get the ad code either the first time or subsequently, you'll notice that once you've selected your ad server from any of these here, the default is polite load. Now when this box is checked, what that means is that the ad is going to wait for all of your page content to load, and in this instance, then once all the page content is loaded, it'll pop that overlay up. So that'll actually act and feel more like a pop-up ad or an overlay when the polite load is checked. If you want it to act more like an interstitial ad, meaning I click on the sports page, for instance, and the first thing I see is that overlay pop up, we're going to uncheck this. It'll tell you by note that this is going to make the ad load faster. We click OK and then click Submit Query. And that's all you need to do. Then go ahead and take this ad code and deploy it. And it'll now be deployed without the polite load, meaning the ad's going to add quickly right away as soon as the user clicks on home page or sports page or wherever you have this ad set up in the first place. So that's it for the design guide. As always, call us at 866-467-2289 with any questions.